like it's only been a few weeks since I posted one of these, and it might be a little bit too soon, but there's actual news to give. Anyway, you can see I still haven't got rid of this bandage on my arm. I did spend almost an entire 2 weeks of naked bliss with my elbow after the last surgery, and that cleared up. But the infection is back, unfortunately. And I just went to the doctor today to have it looked at, and he seems to think, and his partner concurs, that it's probably the cage that's holding the pieces of my elbow, or that was holding the pieces of my elbow where they belong, so the bone could knit back together, that's harboring some infection, which is why it'll clear up for a little while when I'm taking a round of antibiotics, and then it'll stay gone for a few days, and then it'll pop back up. And we all agree, of course, I can't live the rest of my life on antibiotics. And we've already cut my arm open and rinsed all that infection out before, about a month ago. And it's back again, so that's not the optimal strategy for this. So what we're going to do, today's Tuesday, what we're going to do Thursday morning first thing is go back into the operating room, cut my arm open again, and they're going to take out, they think this should have been long enough since the original injury that the pieces of my elbow should be at least calloused back together, so there's no little loose pieces floating around in there. So they want to go ahead and take that cage around my elbow out, which is it's 2 little pieces of metal that start from right here, split, and then go up into my arm. They want to take that out, which it's borderline on the healing time, I think. There could be a piece in there, and if there's pieces of bone laying loose, they won't take it out, but they're at least going to rinse it back out again and try to clear the infection up. But they should be able to take it out without doing any harm, which I'm glad, because that'll hopefully grant me a little bit more range of motion, because any time you put metal somewhere, it's going to be in the way of free movement. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to recover from that surgery, because that's going to be quite a bit more intensive than just the last time where they cut it open, rinsed out a little spot of muscle, and sewed it back up. And the next 3 or 4 days I was back home, I'm doing this again. And I mean, point of fact, by the time 2 weeks had passed and it was time to take the stitches out from that last time, I had bent my arm so far I had pulled one of those stitches down into my arm. And when they took them out, he almost missed one because it was pulled all the way down in my arm, and he didn't see it until he got the very last other one out, and it finally loosened that one up enough that it popped on back out. It was like peekaboo. I'm still here too. So we're going to do that, and the knee has been much, much better. Last time I spoke with y'all, I was doing maybe 90 degrees of bend in my knee, which is basically where I'm sitting right now with just my leg hanging. After the manipulation, we pushed it back to 120 degrees, which 30 extra degrees sounds like a lot, but in practice, when you're laying on the floor pulling on your leg trying to increase your range of motion, going from 90 to 120 doesn't really feel like a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of things that you couldn't do before that you can do now. And there's some other things that they have me do in therapy, like with the range of motion, that there's a lot of crunching going on still, and there's a lot of connective tissue that as it moves sideways inside my knee, it's rubbing up against the pins and screws that are in my knee and keeping me from having such the free range of motion that I could have. So while I'm asleep getting this cage took out of my elbow, they're going to go ahead. There's 5 total screws going from one side of my knee to the other. 2 of them actually go through the rod that's in my femur, giving that bone support while it heals. And 3 of them, I don't know why they're in there, but they're in my knee. They're not connected to anything but knee. unless there was something in my knee they had to put back together that they just didn't bother telling me about because there was so much other stuff jacked up in there. But anyway, they're going to take those 3 pins and screws, whatever they are, that are not connected to this support rod out of my knee while I'm asleep. So hopefully, once all that soft tissue heals from this surgery again, which I don't know, 2-3 weeks, a month maybe. I have no idea how long it's going to take to come back from that. But when I do, hopefully things will progress a little bit quicker and should be a lot easier. I should be able to do a lot more than what I could do before. On that note, progress has been fast. The last video I posted, I was supposed to be using a walker when I walked. And this is what, 2-3 weeks later? I haven't touched the walker. This is the longest I've sat in this chair since the last time I sat in this chair to make a video. My primary mode of getting myself around is to stand up and walk now. And depending on how much I've stretched and loosened up and warmed this knee up some, sometimes I limp, sometimes there's just a limp you can barely notice. Sometimes I limp really bad, sometimes it still hurts, sometimes there's no pain at all. It just all depends usually on how much prep work I've done before I get up and start walking. But I mean, all throughout the day I'll get up and walk around the house. It's got to where walking is not a big deal for me anymore. It's just one more thing that I can do, and I even walk up and down stairs now. It's hard going downstairs because this knee doesn't want to bend when I step down on the right foot to go downstairs, but I can go up fine, which seems to make absolutely no sense to me because I can push upstairs with the left leg, but I can't bend it far enough to walk downstairs. It's odd, and hopefully that's one of the things that should get cleared up when they take some of these pins out of my knee, because they're just crap all over the place in there, and it's in the way of normal movement for me. So I'm hopeful that everything will go well. I'm hopeful that the elbow is in one big piece and there's nothing floating around in there to get loose and get in the way. I'm hoping when they get these pins out, it will be the thing that's causing the issues that I have with the rehab on the knee now, which seems to be what the doctors think. Hoping recovery goes fast and smooth, and I'm hoping this gets me one step closer to getting back to some semblance of being normal again. Other than that, that's pretty much this update. I don't have anything else really to complain about. Except one thing. We went to physical therapy yesterday, and I'm still not cleared to drive because I can't use the steering wheel with this hand quite yet. So they won't clear me to drive. Since I'm not covered on insurance, since I'm not medically cleared, I have to depend on other people to drive me around. So my wife drops me off to therapy yesterday. My mom came and picked me up, and when she comes, she had brought some chocolate candies, and one of them was chocolate covered caramel. She hands me a piece and says, "Here, take this." And I said, "No, I don't really want it right now." And she keeps on, so to shut her up, I went ahead and took the piece of chocolate covered caramel. I took 2 bites into it, and I've got a crown back here for one of these back teeth. I got about 2 bites into that piece of caramel, and I felt my crown come out. So I take this whole wad of caramel out of my mouth, and sure enough, there's a tooth in there. So we had to go straight from physical therapy to the dentist, and they glued it back in, and just a freaking mess. And my luck, typical for my luck here lately since the accident. And I shouldn't complain because in aspects of my recovery, I'm still way ahead of what they expect somebody that's been through the trauma I've been through to be, way further ahead than average Joe, let's say. And then there's places where this little minor thing that I should be able to do by now, I still can't do it. And as positive as I try to be when I make these videos on my updates, because yes, I am that much further ahead of schedule than I should be on some things, it's the things that I can't do that I want to focus on. And I don't want to say it makes me mad, but it's kind of disappoints me that I'm not able to do that. And hopefully, getting some of this hardware out will clear all that stuff up, and I'll get some of the stuff that's a little bit behind caught back up. I would love for it to be all ahead of schedule. Matter of fact, when we found out they wanted to do surgery on me again, me and my wife both asked, "Well, can you do it today?" So we're ready. We're ready to move forward. And they said, "No, we can't do it today. There's no way it can be done today because they got to schedule an OR and all that." But I mean, one of the things the doctor said to me was, "You're going to be up walking around again before you know it after this surgery." And I mean, I'm walking around right now, and I'm like, "Look, doc, if I was running, I'd be pissed off right now because I can't jump." So, I mean, I'm not ever going to be happy until this is normal again. Not 100% happy. I can stay positive about it and be proud of the accomplishments I've made and the progress that we've done and all that stuff, but I'm not that guy that's going to settle for, well, okay, it's good enough. This is as good as it's ever going to be. No, I'm the guy that's going to lay on the floor for 30 minutes every night, pull on my knee, try to get it just 1 degree further, bend in it every day or two or 3 or whatever it takes. I'm going to lay on the floor and torture myself until I get that extra degree when they measure me at physical therapy, just because that's how I am about it. And that's one of the reasons I'm so far ahead of what they expect me to be, is because I won't go to physical therapy and then come home and sit around the house and do nothing until the next physical therapy appointment. I come home and I do my homework, I do my exercising, I do whatever I feel like I can do to the point where I'm fixing to do more damage than I am good. And, when I feel that point coming, I try to stop. But it's just been one thing after another, and I'm trying to stay positive. But between physical therapy yesterday and then having to go to the dentist, knowing I had to go to the doctor for this infection again this morning, it all kind of piled up on me, and I lost my cool for a little bit yesterday in the dentist's office of all places. And it didn't say anything to embarrass myself, but I did show a little bit more frustration than I have shown in front of my mom, or anybody else for that matter, other than my wife. She sees it all because she's here for it. But there's a lot of disappointments that have been along this entire path of progress that I hadn't shown y'all, and I've purposefully not shown y'all that because I don't want anybody to see it. I don't want anybody to see me talking negative in a video about, oh, poor pitiful me, I can't do this, I can't do that, feel sorry for me, send me money, what? No, nope, don't want that. I want people to watch my videos and think, that's a guy that's willing to put in the work and make the progress and have a good attitude, and he's going to heal and be back to as close to normal as it's possibly going to get. And that's how I've conducted the whole thing. That's the face I want to put on it, and hopefully by the end of all this, that's where I want to be with it. So, but yeah, I did get a little bit down yesterday. I was frustrated, and it came out. Not proud of it, but like I say, it didn't say anything to embarrass myself too bad either. So it just is what it is. It's nice to be able to sit and rub my feet back and forth on my dog and bend my knee with a little bit of resistance on it. It's yeah, as a whole, it's been good. There's a lot of progress. They get me in physical therapy, walking up and down staircases, doing a little, like, they've got these little hurdle things that are about that tall, and they'll have me walking forwards, backwards, and doing like a little side step over those, and doing stairs. And, well, one of the biggest indicators of progress to me is 2 weeks ago, they had me on an exercise bike using this foot, the good one, with my other foot on the pedals, pushing my knee, trying to bend it further. and I couldn't go over the top. And the first day that I did, I got a little bit too much momentum going with my good foot, and I accidentally pushed over the top of the pedal with the bad foot. And it hurt so bad I thought I was going to die right there. And I had to stop, sit, breathe hard for a couple of minutes and all that. And then the next day, I was going very slow over the top, pedaling the bicycle. That was 2 weeks ago, and starting probably 2 days after that, that actually turned the bike on so it would have resistance against me and put me on a workout program. And I'm sitting there riding the bike, and now I've got up to the pace where I'm averaging about not quite 2.5 miles in 10 minutes. And that's pretty much my warm-up for the rest of my physical therapy session that day. So that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. That's fast progress from pushing a pedal, trying not to go over the top because your knee can't, to riding a bike for exercise within 2 weeks. I'm calling that a win. That's pretty much it. That's all I got for you. Hope surgery goes well. I hope they get to take some of this crap out of me. Hope that's what's actually harboring the infection in my arm, so once they take this out, I won't have to worry about it anymore, because really that's been the biggest pain in the butt, other than things I can't do with my knee that I probably should be able to do already. We're just going to hope for the best and get her done. Y'all have a good day.